Windows 11 is implementing a new AI feature that records every single thing you've done on your PC. It's called Windows Recall. And the idea behind it is that it's going to take images of your active screen every few seconds and record all of your actions so that in the future you don't necessarily have to go hunt down files or specific programs or resume your work. You can just talk to Copilot and it'll resume everything for you. I'm going to go ahead and play their little video here on the screen. The idea is that they integrate artificial intelligence directly into the operating system so that you can very quickly resume work wherever you were with a previous program. You can just say, hey, Windows, I want you to open up the last 7 tabs I was looking at on Chrome, or they probably want you to use Edge, and also my PowerPoint presentation. And while this seems maybe okay at first in concept, you got to realize if your PC is recording every single thing that you do, that is a massive privacy and security concern. Now, Microsoft says that the recall index will remain local to your PC only and encrypted in a way that it's only linked to a user's account. The recall screenshots will not be online. They won't be putting this information into large language models. And the AI on this one actually uses local small language models to do all of the work. That being said, I don't believe this at all. Here's a different article on Ars Technica explaining a little bit how it works. There's no way a company as big and as totally moral and ethical as Microsoft is going to save your entire computer's data just locally. They're already farming an obscene amount of information. They're already putting ads in your start menu as if they're programs. I get Microsoft Edge popping up all the time. It's very, very frustrating. This, even if they do it right, even if like for a couple of years it's local only, a day is going to come where it won't be. Now it also says it won't record your in private tabs, which I believe is the Edge version of incognito, but it probably will record incognito on Chrome and other apps. To top it all off, there is a hardware penalty for using this. You do use some amount of storage and system bandwidth and processing resources, etc., etc. And I think this is a total privacy disaster. To be super generous to Microsoft, understand where they're coming from. It would be nice to sit down and be like, hello, computer, I want you to do these things for me. And it kind of knows because it's been watching your behavior. That sounds kind of cool, but I don't think we live in a world where we can get that without trading in way too much of our own personal privacy. Apple TV and several other streaming websites want to start paying actors based on how many people actually watch their movies on the platform, which at a surface level seems very fair. You're compensating actors for the amount of audience that they draw in and not just because of their star power or how good they are at negotiating a contract. However, I think that what that will eventually do is change the incentives such that Apple TV will become YouTube in the near future. We already have a platform like that. YouTube compensates people based on how many people are viewing the videos, and this is actually my actual YouTube. You can see I watch like a lot of Kursagat, I can never say that channel's name, a lot of chill wave stuff, some old cartoons, so spilling a little bit of my beans here. And here's the details on it. The size of the bonuses, well, first of all, they're going to pay them a flat fee. So you get a flat fee for doing some kind of work for them. And then bonuses based on 3 criteria. The number of people who signed up for Apple TV to watch, or number of new signups that seemingly signed up just for your show, how much time they spent viewing, and the cost of the program relative to the size of its audience, which is a weird adjuster right there. So I imagine that the base salary will go down a little bit, and then these bonuses could go up. This is people with one of the top 3 shows could share up to $10.5 million for a season, which is a lot less than syndication money used to be for cable. And there's a problem with this. So I've done social media for a very, very long time, not just here on TikTok. I've been on YouTube since 2006. I've worked in some capacity almost every website that pays creators. And one of the big problems you have as a creator is you don't have any sort of independent way to audit your views. The views that you get, the ad revenue that you split, and the performance you have are just whatever Google or Twitter or Instagram tell you. There's no way to go to the Instagram offices and bring in a forensic editor to make sure that things are on the square. And I've absolutely had companies fake views to pay people more and skim views to pay people less, but without probably literally a court injunction, some subpoenas, and an army of lawyers and tech experts. You don't have any way to prove that. So it radically shifts the balance of power in favor of big companies like Apple. So sure, they might pay a few people well in the beginning to kind of save face, and by the time this is industry standard, they can put their thumb on the scales to do whatever they want and pay whatever they want. So I think this is a terrible idea. According to the Associated Press, the average US vehicle age has hit a record 12.6 years old, as high prices are forcing people to keep their cars for longer. And this has definitely affected me and my wife. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But the point is that Americans are not buying new cars, mostly because of the high prices. The average price of a new vehicle purchased in the United States is now about $45,000, which is down a little bit more from the peak of 2000 in 2022, and a lot of us are still locked in on those older prices. And if you want to take a look at this, this is the price of trucks. Trucks have started to get extremely expensive, especially nice big trucks can easily run you 100K. And here is a price index to mark the increase in price in vehicles over since 2012. We have total price and adjusted for inflation. Even adjusted for inflation, the price of new vehicles is 30%, which means it's 30% higher above the inflation cost alone, which is absolutely insane. JD Power, the fake award company that gives cars awards for their safety or whatever, has been tracking some of this, and they've noticed that a lot of factors are involved, mostly the price, but a lot of Americans want to wait to see if they're going to buy an electric vehicle or go gas-electric hybrid or stick with gasoline. And many, he said, are worried about the charging network being built up so they can worry about traveling without running out of battery, so they're going to wait a little bit longer to buy an EV. Now, this is doom and gloom, and you want to say that the economy's doing bad and everything is on fire and the automotive market's about to implode. But the reality is that new vehicle sales in the US are starting to return to pre-pandemic levels. The pandemic's just crushed the supply chain. We're still 4 years later dealing with the consequences of that. Prices should begin to normalize, availability should increase, and people's incomes should slowly return to normal, so this problem should alleviate itself. But it's still interesting to see this number of 12.6 years, because when I grew up, my parents, when they were middle class and sometimes when they were upper, they got a new car like every 4 or 5 years. Man, if that car was more than 5 years old, that car was old. We get rid of it and get a new one. I personally have a 15-year-old car and an 8-year-old Tesla, and both of them are in need of replacement, but I ran into this same dilemma in that there's nothing really affordable or better than I can replace them with. If I would have to spend a lot of money, and I might not really get anything that's much more reliable. So I imagine a lot of Americans are in the same boat I'm in, and the boat I've decided to go on is to put a pre-order down for the Rivian R2. You've probably heard people complaining that streaming is turning into cable. Well, Comcast said, bet, and they decided to take Peacock, Netflix, and Apple, roll them into a streaming service and sell them at a vastly reduced price with ads, therefore literally making streaming cable TV. Just leave it to Comcast to make something worse. In case you didn't know, Comcast is a legacy cable TV business that continues to shrink because most people that subscribe to cable television or satellite television are either big sports fans or boomers or both. So what they're going to sell together is Peacock Premium, which has ads, Netflix Basic with ads, and Apple TV, all for a discounted price. And for another $15 a month, you can get Comcast Xfinity TV at some degree of discount, and 40 ad-supported streaming channels, so more ads there. You can see the prices. This is a baffling one for me, that Peacock Premium, which in my mind premium usually means ad-free, is $6 a month and has ads, which is kind of bizarre. And they're not the only company doing this. Disney and Warner Brothers and Discovery have launched a Disney Hulu Max streaming bundle, also with ad-supported tiers. Look like how complicated this is getting. Guys, this is very frustrating for me. I feel like I was of the generation when this was new, when Netflix was brand new and everybody was on board and we're going to disrupt the industry and we're going to change media forever and this is going to be great. And after about 15 years of playing around, they've just decided, you know what? We made more money with the cable business model, so we're just going to repackage that a little bit. And you're getting cable television again, 22 minutes of ads per hour, only 38 minutes of content. Take off the credits and outro and intro, then you're probably down to about 32 minutes of content per hour. Yay! Very frustrating.